Okay, people. What I'd like to do now is get each table to talk about the most significant problem that they found. Tell us what it is, why it's a real significant problem. We'll go in order of table numbers, and if, say, one table mentions your most significant problem already, then you can tell us about your second most significant problem. Does that make sense? So we'll start with table 1, who can tell us what they think is the most significant problem facing community councils who wish to digitally engage.
We've actually had a brilliant conversation here. We've covered lots of topics. Our main one would actually be a block within our community to get them involved, and then we branch out into digital engagement then. So it's, we talked about apathy.
Can you speak up? Sorry.
Lack of.
Could we have a microphone?
We don't have a microphone, so sorry. We'll just have to practice shouting.
Our main issue is lack of resource in terms of bodies on the ground, in terms of who comes to the meetings, and also externally. So we've talked about apathy, people having lack of time, we lack young people in our groups. So if we could get greater engagement, then we could really use digital media to better effect.
And table 2.
Yeah, our one was quite easy. We felt that number 1 was the digital infrastructure, because without the infrastructure there to support it and the broadband speeds and everything else, then that's a bit more difficult. So it was really just about the infrastructure first of all, and the
And from table 3, what do you think?
I'm just checking. I think the main block is actually internally within our community council. There's a lack of engagement from our other members to try new technologies. So we've also had experiences with that, trying to push things forward. So we think that's probably jumped out to us as the highest.
Thank you. And table 4.
We didn't really get to the point of deciding which one was the most important. they're all important, but there were lots of things around training and funding as a kind of vicious circle to help people do it, people knowing where the funding was, accessing it, and people having time to do that, and getting the skills and the money to do it.
Table 5.
Yeah, I think it quickly intervenes at what was number 1, number 2, whatnot, but we have discussed the likes of the culture being an issue, first of all actually wanting to do it. There's also an issue in terms of once you are actually wanting to do these things, or having the skills to be able to do it. Some of the issues perhaps with the demographics of community councils and sort of having mostly older people and younger people with those skills. And there's also a kind of conversation about perhaps a kind of lack of strategy or understanding how to use different forms of social media and what it's actually based for, what you use it for, what you use Twitter for, and things like that. So that was probably, obviously culture was the number 1.
Table 6, please.
Well, we decided that time and resource was our sort of number 1 problem, and somebody's already said that. So I'll just share with you the rest of the things we came up with. Reaching organizations using digital media or online sources, community groups, organizations in the area is actually quite easy. But reaching citizens is a little bit more difficult. How do you get to the individual in your area to let them know you exist and to come along? It's quite a problem. A lot of hard copy stuff getting passed around still, planning, letters. How do you then put that online?
To be able to put online.
Exactly.
Lots of documents that just won't come out if they're not in the right format.
Exactly. No website. Just simply don't have an online presence. That is a problem in this conversation. And what about succession management and sustainability? So you set this thing up. What's the plan for 2 years down the line?
Thank you all. We've got about 10 minutes until coffee should arrive. So I think there's an opportunity now to have some whole group discussion around around what's been raised. Are there any comments from, say, one table about what another table has said is most significant? Is there agreement, disagreement? Tell us, if anyone. Kathleen.
We had a really useful conversation. I just wanted to say that four community councillors here today are from relatively newly established community councils. And our colleague here just established a community council last night. So that's fantastic. Our conversation was really useful because we were sharing tips, and one really good tip that is shared here is the community council here have a stall or a stand at the farmers market every Saturday. Now that is not digital engagement, and I know that's not what you want to hear.
I always seen digital as part of a range of channels. It's all about talking to citizens, and digital is one way, face to face. However, it's what works.
Yeah,
It's identifying whether digital doesn't work.
Yes.
Yeah, thinking of other ways that we could engage with people, and then encourage them maybe to go online, or to explain how they can get online and what we have online, so it does work together.
I guess. Anyone else? Please.
All of us here have come because we're interested in digital engagement. And the discussion at this table kind of shocked me because the people who are not interested are the rest. And so if the bad practice we're hearing here, the difficulties we're hearing here, what is happening there is where there's no interest at all. And one of the thoughts that crosses my mind is that this is partly because the way we do our business in general is probably not as good as it could be. The committee processing, the idea of having agendas and papers a week out before the meeting, people coming to a meeting having thought about it and studied things. Because if you have that system of resolute bureaucracy, and former bureaucrats, that's what I like, then the bureaucracy drives you into the digital world quite nicely, because you then have ordered papers stored on your website, people can download the paper, they get into that system. My sister organisation, Portobello, is up to its ears in that kind of work. They almost don't need to have meetings because everything happens between meetings. And so the community council exists all the time, rather than only existing at the monthly or bi-monthly meetings. So, in a way, when we talk about applying the IT world to what we do, we need to understand whether we're doing it right in the first place, to which we would then apply these extra tools. And then finally, if I may just, this business of getting hold of people is quite tricky. Portobello, my sister organisation, they're the rivals, the Independent Republic thereof, they stand in Scotland on the first Saturday of every month. And they are available for having apples thrown at them, throwing ideas out, talking about stuff. They really engage. And when they have their meetings, they come back and say, you'll never guess what people said at Scott Mid on Saturday morning. So we tried this at Morrison's twice. Morrison's is the only thing in the middle of North Villa, and we stood in the foyer and nabbed people on a Saturday and a Wednesday morning, because it's differently on time. And we said, what do you want to complain about? And we did a post-it exercise. If you've got something you want us to think about, put it up on the post-it. So the end result was 95% of the people said, living here is pure dead lovely. There's nothing to complain about. We really like our neighbours, we like our house, we like our schools. Why would we want to complain? So then, whipping up the enthusiasm for a community council to do the kinds of things that we specialise in, which is whinging and moaning, how are we going to do that if our communities won't whinge and moan forward?
So I just wanted to say that chimed in quite, apart from that aspect, one of the discussions we had was, or one of the points that things that came up when I was looking at this, was the question of like, why aren't community councils as dynamic as other community groups? And this kind of game it's quite a difficult thing to keep focused on digital and on problems. But one of the things is like one of the problems is now that called the community enterprise type things.
Community development
trusts. They're there. They can get stuff done. Maybe they have a problem now with community councils.
Because they have a lot of money to do
They
it.
have the money. Yeah.
No, we don't.
But I think that and there's another thing came up is competition with other community groups. And it's just that can be seen as a problem. So I don't know how that shines with.
Okay, Ali, and then
I'll just briefly say that the point about opportunities to complain and community councils are about whinging and moaning. I feel that if you're in an area where there is no opportunity to complain, then your job isn't done, because community councils can also be there to find opportunities to curate things in the community and make things even better than they already are. And so it's a case of thinking about what is the community council for, what is the role of the council, and then from that how do you register engagement. So it's not all about complaining, you can be quite creative, and instead of having a list of this is all rubbish, you have a, well, this would be quite nice, so how can we do this or how can we do that? So I just want to pick up on that.
Can I just say from our community council perspective, we didn't have a lot to complain about either, so we went and looked at what did people actually want, and sort of austere times they wanted to save money. So we set up a good purchasing scheme for oil, which started off with 107 people, it now has 136 people on board. We did it for LPG gas, not so many because there's 50 people that are there. We've done it for electricity. Only 9 people have signed up for the electricity at the moment, because everything that's just new is just a bit low. And the 9 people that signed up saved £2,000. As a result of that, using our e-book scheme, people are aware of us, know that we're there, and then we communicate and tell them what we're doing next. So we're about to get defibrillators for them. So it kind of feeds off each other. So once we get what they want and we do active positive things with them, then they want to engage with us. And people who don't have maybe IT or a mobile phone, they'll give it to their neighbour, they print it off. So part of the thing that we say is, your neighbour doesn't have it, could you just print off a newsletter and give it to them? And that works in our area. And it is a small area, but it was taken in the opposite way, going to what people wanted.
Yeah, I just think personally as well, people are not really interested in engaging with something that, what was I going to say, if you can't really go and gossip, if you can't really go and have a wee rant about something, within community council they don't seem to be attractive for people to come and, like you said, moan and complain, because we're being seen as an institution. We're not being seen as people you can go to for advice or with a solution to some problems that are happening in an area. That's what I'm saying. I have a competition within my community council where there's different Facebook page set up, and it's very, very popular. And just because they know actually more than we know as a community council, because everybody who knows something go first onto their website, onto their page, because they can gossip, they can have a go at someone else, they can be anonymous and stuff like that. So that's attractive for them to engage with. Where we put factual information, we get what we put boring stuff that are people like, I'm not really interested in that, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go and see whose dog is missing and stuff like that. And it's like we're not attractive digitally because we're more as an institution rather than a group of people who's there to support others.
Thanks. First, to have two reactions to that. What I'm hearing, not just from here but from other things, is where community councils go out and do stuff for their community, then that gathers the respect and gets them the audience for their other activities. The solution this lady problem this lady's just mentioned is about audiences. And my question, I really don't know the answer yet, is how can you tap into those other resources and maybe collate what they're saying and say, here's, we can collate information, missing dogs or council announcements or whatever, and be the combined source for information for for your citizens, and thus get an audience and then get conversations happening. I don't know how that would be done, but it would possibly worth looking into. So I'll say thank you very much now. It seems that drinks have arrived, so if people want to get a tea or coffee, and then we'll have the first talk at 11:30. Thank you all.